Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, our Simple Abundance year. Our journey through Sarah Von Bronick's book Simple Abundance during the year of 2020. I can't even believe in the last video, somehow I said that this edition that we're going through is from 2016. Like, I don't know how many times I've said it's from 2019. My brain just had a burp or something. But anyway, you know we're going through her new book, the new one that she's got. It just came out in November of 2019. So we're all exploring it this year, and I've got the window open so you can probably hear the birds. It was a nice little breeze earlier too, and you could hear a little wind chime, so maybe you'll hear that. So today's entry, and I'm actually going to combine it with another one from this week because they're very similar. Because I think what I'm going to do on the 28th, because I'm taking one of the ones from that, is I'm going to finally do my video for you about my cash envelope system, because I've mentioned my budget a couple times and I keep saying I'm going to do a video and I haven't done it, so that will make me do it. So today's entry, August 26th, is about the movies, and she calls it Real, R-E-E-L, Life Lessons. And Michelle Obama's got a quote here at the beginning that talks about how basically through movies and TV, that is sometimes how nowadays we know about things that are outside of our normal daily existence, like other people's experiences, other cultures, issues that we just may not encounter in our everyday lives. And that's pretty true, don't you think? I mean, we did talk about books, and I know I'm still an avid audiobook person, so I really listen to a lot, but usually it's either like self-help, crime, murder mystery, like things like that, or sometimes like a fantasy or a romance or something. So usually they're not things that I would encounter, so I'm not actually listening to the audiobooks to learn about other people. I know some people, sometimes when they're reading, they really like stories with culture and history and things like that. My sort of audio listening is often an escape, or it's self-enrichment through like inspirational books, like I mentioned The Power of Now last time. So, and I suppose movies are like that too, although I do really like watching documentaries. How about you guys? You can definitely learn through those things. And there's many things, like we talked about this earlier in the year, many things you can just pull up and watch on YouTube very easily. And there's so many streaming services as well. So in this entry, Sarah is talking to us about really savoring the movie times, and she even encourages us to just during the day, like, make popcorn and watch a movie, or maybe, I don't know if you have movie theaters open where you are right now. We don't here, but maybe go to a movie, like a matinee. And she loves movies. I love movies. I often mention movies, I know, in the videos, because oftentimes I remember so much from movies. I must be a visual learner, and like I remember things better through an experience like that than I do in other cases. So I like movies. What about you? And she does recommend also that we keep a list of movies that we want to see. We talked about collecting earlier in the year our favorite songs, and remember I encouraged you, I think it was back in February or maybe early March, to make a song list of like an authentic song list of the things that like I don't know, that speak to you, like songs that really seem like they express who you are. And you could potentially do that with movies too. There could be movies that sort of like changed your life. You know, if you think about through the decades, you could think like, wow, that movie really made me think about a certain thing, or that movie introduced me to a certain time period, or music, or I got really interested in, you know, history because of this particular movie, or I felt really empowered by this movie or this character, or I wanted to all of a sudden like change the world because of this thing, or I decided that I wanted to be a certain profession because I saw such and such, you know. Think about the movies in that way and how they've shaped your lives. And also think about the movies that you might reach for comfort and for certain genres that really make you feel comforted. Like the one that I'm going to combine today is the 28th. She calls it the bliss of period films, and she's very drawn to movies that take place in the past and certain times. Like she really mentions, you know, like when the horse-drawn carriages are coming and the lavish sets, and she just is very taken with the drawing rooms and, you know, probably like the Downton Abbey sort of time period. And I wonder if that's your particular genre or time period that sucks you in. Think about why that is too. Maybe you have an interest, or maybe you had a past life in some sort of a time period like that. Like I've mentioned Egypt and how I feel really drawn to the Egyptian culture. Who knows? And I know that I have certain movies that I own a bunch of movies that I don't get sick of watching them. Like the only reason that I will buy a movie is that I loved it so much that I could watch it over and over again and never get sick of it. So I am very selective about my collection of movies, but I have a lot. And so there are movies that I can just pull out and I know that I can have them on in the background and I don't have to be paying super detailed attention because I know what happens and I like the music and the characters, and usually it's a happy ending for me. And then when we can go to the movies, I know that I'm way better about keeping track of what movies are coming when I go and see movies and I get to see the previews. Although, don't you find that sometimes the previews just give away the whole story? I sometimes like when I only get like a little hint that sort of teases you and makes you want to know more. I don't like when they take you through the whole plot in a movie trailer, and it seems like that's the way it is now. But in any case, when I go to the movies, I like to see the previews because it gets me excited about what the next movie is that I'm going to see. And when I talk about my budget in a couple days, you will know that I have certain like entertainment things that I buy ahead of time. Like I will buy a gift card to the movies for the whole year so that I don't have to worry about having that money. Like it's already something that I bought ahead of time. And so I know that I can go do one movie a month if I want, or maybe two, and then I don't go another month. But I haven't been able to use that one particular gift card this whole year, basically. I went to a couple movies earlier in the year, but we have had a different year, and the drive-in is open near me now, and they're playing a lot of classic movies, but some of the ones they've played I either own, and so I can't really justify going, or it's just a movie that I've seen a million times, so I haven't gone to the drive-in, even though that is usually something on my summer bucket list. I like watching a movie out under the stars and just having popcorn sitting in a chair. I think you can probably get out of your car at the drive-in. You probably just have to stay away from other people or have your mask on. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So I will read a couple things that she says. I like this part. She says, films are celluloid fairy tales for a culture that no longer sits around the campfire listening to the wisdom of elders. And she tells us, I use movies to replenish my creative well. And she talks about how she craves the period films with lush sets and costumes. And she collects movies about angels, reincarnation, and the afterlife, and everlasting love. So that's something that Sarah likes. Meditatively watching your mood to a movie is very restorative and rewarding. Put a list together of films that sound good to you. Refer back to it or save it in your streaming platform of choice. And don't forget to go to the theater sometimes. While we live in an age of anything on demand in our living room, it is still great fun and an occasional treat to experience films the old-fashioned way. I agree. That is one of the main things that I have missed about this whole quarantine and pandemic time is I miss the movies. I love the movies, and you know I love popcorn, so I have to have popcorn when I watch movies. And then let me see if there's anything else to say about the period pieces. Just at the end, this is a quote from Marcia Sinitar. Movies mirror us and invite us to go beyond the obvious. Their themes and images can powerfully equip us to see ourselves as we are at our worst, at our best, or help us invest new scripts about who we hope to be. Interesting. Help us invent new scripts about who we hope to be. So that would be like what I was saying earlier, if you felt like a movie really inspired you and potentially changed your life for the better because you invented a new script for your life. Sorry, I read that wrong. Yes. Inventing a new script for who we hope to be. What do you guys think about movies? I know not everybody's into them. Some people will just fall asleep as soon as the movie comes on, or they just can't be bothered. But for me, I like movies. I do have a lot of streaming services too, and I sometimes feel overwhelmed. And so sometimes if I know that there's going to be a night that I want to watch a movie, then earlier in that week I will go through and try to pick one, because you know how it is when you sit down and you spend like half an hour trying to even figure out what to watch. Because I know this sounds sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but weird. But I like to cross-reference, like with Rotten Tomatoes. That's a site you can find on the internet where you can tell what the audience thought and what the critics thought. Like, so if there's some obscure movie that Netflix says is like a 98 match for me, that's usually a good sign. But then if I go and I see that it's really got really bad ratings or something, then I'm not going to waste my time. So I will try to, a couple days ahead of time, select something. But they do have a way that you can save movies for future watching. And I've also found sometimes if you're Googling, and I found a cute movie about a month ago in this way. If you're Googling, you can sometimes find a website where it's like in real time they will say, and it's funny, I mean REAL, real time, they will say like what the top movies on Netflix are right now, and then a small little synopsis. And so I have Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus right now, so I have so many different options at my fingertips. And I think more than anything though, I watch a lot on YouTube more than I do in other things, because there's a lot of channels that I follow, and then just catching up on current events or things that are going on right now. So I like that my TV, actually I have it in the background here, I like that my TV is a smart TV, so it's connected to the internet. I hope that you'll give some thought to your favorite movies and maybe think about how those movies throughout your life really influenced you. I bet there are some. There's just some cult classics, right, that might have been like right when you were coming of age or introduced you to something new. Think about those, and then potentially you could revisit some of those favorites too, just like with the books that we did, that we talked about getting some of your favorite children's books. You could revisit some favorite movies from the past and make a fun little project out of it. And didn't we talk about, I don't think that was this month, it was another month when we were talking about food, so maybe last month, Sarah suggested doing a movie night around, like with food centered around the movie, so various themes. So you could do something like that, like make your movie night into also a way to celebrate the food from the movie too. Lots of possibilities. All right, I'll be back with you tomorrow. I love this next entry. It's about becoming the heroine of your life. And that is like not heroin the drug. It's, you know what I mean. It's being the heroine, being the leading lady of your life, in other words. So I'm looking forward to talking to you about that. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for humoring me, and I appreciate all your comments. You guys have the best insight. You make me think sometimes about the things that I said, but you think about them differently, and it's like a whole other avenue of thought on that same topic. So please keep sharing, and so glad to see some new subscribers, and thanks for all the likes and the support. Again, I'll see you tomorrow.